Hey, everybody. Welcome to Making Connections. This is your girl, Aly. I hope everybody is having an amazing day. I'm excited. You guys know I love to just meet new people, find out what they're doing, and, something that might help me or could help you and your family. And so I know you guys saw the slides that were going through the opening there. One of them in particular I wanted to talk about was I have to put my glasses on. Y'all know I can't see. It's called Champion House of Care, and they're having a prom in April, and they're just soliciting people. If you're a caterer, if you can do hair. I think the participants are yeah. I'm not gonna talk too much about it because I don't know a whole lot about it. But if you're able to help, if you can help send food, if you it's in the Charlotte area, you can go to their website, which is CHOC Project One spelled out .org. That's CHOC Project One.org. And of course, we always thank Marlene for our theme music. If you are an artist and you need some help getting your sound together, you can reach out to Polyphonic Studio and Marlene, and they can help you get your stuff together. So, hey, Miss Victoria,
Hi.
how are you today?
I-
I can't hear you.
oh, okay.
But that's Miss Victoria Brown. She is our guest today, and I'm excited for to get into this conversation with her and what she does in poetry. Say something now. Let's see if I can hear you.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Just barely.
Okay. Hold on. Let me see what's going on.
Okay, I can hear you better now.
Okay, you can hear me now?
Yeah. That's good.
Okay.
All
Hi.
right. So how are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. So since this is your first time on the show, welcome to Making Connections.
Yes.
And so before we jump into the interview, I just want to give you an opportunity just to introduce yourself a little bit, tell us just a little bit about you, and then we'll get into the interview.
Okay, great. Well, my name is Victoria Brown. I am from Blythewood, South Carolina. I am 29 years old, and I am a mother of a 3-year-old boy. And my, I am very, it's a lot to say about me, but I I am very, very, very a devoted mother, a woman of God. I am a poet, I'm an author, and also I have now about to give birth to my new ministry, which we will talk more about later. And that's it.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's a
ma'am.
lot.
Yes.
An amazing woman doing lots of things, and I love it. I love it. And so, again, so how's it like being a mother of a 3-year old?
It's something. We teach each other, and it's kind of funny because everything he does is like a mirror of me when I was little. But it is a whole different generation. Uh, so being, like I said, my son is actually my miracle baby. And just to have him, it just brought life to me in a whole nother area. So I am totally thankful to have him and, just see him grow up. It's a lot. Yes,
Awesome,
ma'am.
awesome. I love it. I love it. So, so you are a poet, huh?
Yeah.
So how long have you
Yeah.
been doing that?
I started at 15, but I published my first book at age of 16. And I started with that in a program I was in called Diva. And when I did my first book called Honestly Yours, that's how the book became my book name, Honestly Yours. And ever since then, I grew more passion with doing poetry. And I really got to understand what the concept of what poetry means to me at age of 18. Communication was very hard for me, and every time I communicate with others, it'll be always misunderstood. So I usually just write my feelings out, how I'll feel. Um, and it just gives me a release, like a breakthrough, and without leaving a scar or a mark of my pain. So yes, and I just like to express what God has brought me through in my poetry. So yes,
Well, I like one thing you said. You're trying to find a way to express yourself, because sometimes words don't come out right. And I mean, you might have the purest meaning when you say something, but it
yes,
all is, perspective. The person might take it the wrong way, but it might not
hmm
be meant that way. And so then sometimes I think what happens with a lot of us is that then we stop communicating because we're like, oh, we're just misunderstood, da 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 da. And so,
yeah,
we stop. But you like, no, I need to express what's on the inside. And so you begin to write. And so
yes,
I
ma'am.
think that's awesome.
Thank you. It is very it's a healing thing um too as well. Some people always say, well, especially with workshops that I host, they will first thing they will say, well, I'm not a poet. And without them knowing, because people they think that poets is always it has to rhyme, it has to make sense. But really, to me, poetry is just painting a picture of things that's unseen. Just to give you that imagination of like, wow, this is what they went through. I can feel what they're going through because of how they're delivering it, or what they're using to analyze their feelings to explain how they feel, the words that they use. So yes, ma'am.
Awesome. I love that. Because, I mean, yeah, if you're not really used to poetry, you think everything's got to
Yes.
rhyme. How long can it be? Maybe this is getting too
hmm
long. Well, what rhymes with this word? And
Yeah.
so it's more so, like you said, an expression. You know, it's just about, and you're right when you say paint the picture, because I'm thinking about some of the things that I've read in the past, even when I was younger. It's like as I was reading it, I could imagine what was being said. I can imagine the yellow flower or the
hmm
broken heart and things like that. And so
Yes,
um,
ma'am.
I admire the fact that you're using it though, to you realized it was a breakthrough for you, and so possibly it could be a breakthrough for somebody else.
Yes.
So even when you started, that process and sharing, what was that like? And like, was it like God prompted? Were you scared? What was it?
Like a normal person, you always get scared because you're wondering what people will say. Especially my second book where I did Flesh versus Spirit. I was so hesitant to get that published, but it was actually a collaboration of poems and that I wrote, and I just put it all together. And it turned out to be a story of a young lady that is just battling flesh, and she was feeding flesh. My parents didn't really know what I was really going through at the time of 18. Finding love, going through identity searching. It was just a lot, and when people see me, they say, "Oh, well, she's this little girl, bright," and which is true. But I have my flaws. I did go through the darkness. I did. I'm not perfect, but I'm perfect to be imperfect. And so when I released my book, I had a lot of questions, especially from my dad. Being a minister's child, and my dad and his story, what we overcame, he was just lost and stunned, but he was like, "Wow, I didn't know." And it's okay because it's not a fault thing. It's just something I had to release, and more people are going through that. Um, and like I always tell people, my story may not be your story, but at the end of the day, we all have a story, and what God has brought us through is what to impact in other people's lives and to bring forth that brightness, that peace, because once we plant that seed into other people, then God's just going to get the increase. So it is, it was tough, but I was excited at the same time because it's like, wow, now my business is out there, but I wasn't by myself. So
Right.
yes, ma'am. And it kept on me keep on writing. Yeah.
And too, I think in everything that we do, when we're really getting in the flow, it causes us to some degree to be vulnerable.
Mhm.
to tell our story, to tell those things that we didn't ever tell anybody else. You know, if you
Yeah.
weren't there at the situation, you don't know, you know. But it seems like a lot of those situations are the things that caused us either to grow or to sometimes be broken, but have to be, rebuilt from that. And
Mhm.
so that vulnerability part, woo.
Yes. It is something where, and the way how I got rebuilt um is I started reading God's word, because what the world had said and what the world categorized me as, I was broken. You will place yourself as the weak one, the vulnerable one. But once you read what God has said that you are, and you accept what God has said to you, to accept that is like, wow. It's like, okay, well, I am this. I am victorious. I am strong. So it gives you that reassurance that I can do this. Even if I can't see it, I know I can do this because what God's word says. And that's what upbuilt me to keep going, not worrying about what others may feel or say, when I do release my poems or share my poetry with others. So,
And that is so important because a lot of time, and I mean, I'll be wondering, I mean, I've done it myself. I'm wondering even about me, why do we oftentimes will believe what somebody else has to say, somebody else's opinion, when,
hmm,
opposed to God's opinion, or even, the visions that we have about ourselves. Because typically we have a vision of us
yes,
being successful, being healthy, being in love, or what have you, but we don't hold on to those visions. As soon as something negative comes, we're like, we'll grasp to that. We'll hold on to that more so than the positive
yes,
side.
the positive.
I wonder why that is.
It's a flesh, it's a mental thing. The devil attacks the mind, and that's what he's coming for. That's his job, and his job is to steal, kill, and destroy. So if he can come and destroy your mind, he can come and target your mind because that's where you're most vulnerable at. I always tell my sister and I always tell my ladies that, I was told that a robber won't go to a empty building. So
Right.
if you're filled with so much that God has poured in you, then that's when Satan's going to come and try to remove, target. And so that's the mind, and you're filled with a lot of visions, filled with a lot of wisdom. He's going to come towards that, and he's going to attack with different darts, and he's going to show you, oh, well, you don't know this, or you don't, that's not what's going to happen, or that's you're too weak to bring forth that vision. You too this, and it's a lot of negative. But you have to have that strength, that courage to say, hey, God gave me this, and what God gave me should not hurt. What He's poured in me, I can bring forth. And it's not me bringing forth, it's God's going to bring forth, but He's using me as a vessel.
Right.
And that's all it is. And it's, and I like I always say, I keep it honest because and that's all it can be. You got to keep it real. So it is very, very tricky because people say, well, I know who I am. I got this, positive. I'm speaking positive over me. But once you hear that negative, it's like, oh, but you have to fight back. Don't give
Right.
that part, of that, okay, yes, you're right. I can't. I have my moments when I used to be like that. I shared one of my visions to one of a coworker of mine, and she was like, "Well, I don't see that, or I don't like that, or that just shows different meaning." And at first it got to me, but then I remember God said, "Wait a minute, uh-uh, I gave you that. Your reason, you don't see why I gave you this. You don't know why I'm giving you this, and you really don't. Only time you know is if He shows it, like, hey, at the end, this is the reason why." And I always thank God because I'm like, okay, I don't want everything all at once because I want to go through it and so I can enjoy it. I'm ready for it, but it's like, hey, I'm ready to enjoy the ride. So when that Satan comes to you, when you have friends, because it comes to any shape or form,
Right.
um, loved ones, family. When I shared my vision with become doing this ministry in my family, they was like, "You got to be a pastor. You're gonna be a minister. You're gonna do this." I don't know about that. What are you gonna do? It was a lot of questions. I kind of felt kind of down. I was like, "Huh?" But I remember my mentor. She says, "God gave you the vision, no one else." And so I had to keep holding on that. And I just encourage other people that, hey, it's your vision, not nobody else. So you have to
Mm,
trust God in this no matter what.
exactly. And
Yes, ma'am.
too, when you were talking about, the ministry, a lot of times too, people when they hear ministry, they think of a building where you go and there's people and there's the pastor. Are you going to be the pastor? Da, da. Ministry
Yes,
happens in so many different ways. If people could really understand that, you know, I mean, let's just talk about like Meals on Wheels. That's a ministry because people
exactly.
are in need and somebody is helping them right where they are. So it's so many different ways to minister to people. It doesn't have to be just that pastor in that pulpit.
Mm,
God has given you a ministry through poetry to help people heal, to help people find their voice, to help people to express the things that they can't say because
yes.
I don't want my family to know yet. But you can put it down on paper. You
Hmm.
can get it out of your spirit. You can get it out of your mind because you're holding everything here. So that then God has the opportunity, now that it's written, that God can say, okay, this is what I need you to do with it. This is the area we're going to go. I ain't going to just throw
Hmm.
you out there, but this is what I need to happen with this.
Yes,
Right?
yes. And I'm glad that you said it so profound because it's like that is what the ministry purpose agenda is all about. It is it's not a building, like they said, well, we have to go to church. You are the church. You are the ministry. You
Yeah,
have to make sure you're the one to bring forth what God has put in you. And that is absolutely right. Yes, ma'am.
I love it. I love it. Because that's what we need. We always need ministry. We leave that part out and we don't want to acknowledge it as what it is. But that's what it is. When you have
That's
somebody coming to you and, helping you through, standing with you, they've joined the ministry, whatever it is, whoever's supporting your vision has joined your ministry
yes,
to get that word out, to let people know who you are and what you have to offer and how what you're doing, the gift that you have and the gift that you're operating in can help somebody else.
yes, ma'am.
So so tell us about your first book. What's that about?
My first book was Honestly Yours. And well, yes, it was Honestly Yours. And that was basically about things that I've seen, things that I went through. And um, after I've written that book, I stopped writing for a minute. And there was a lady that told my mom, she said, "Victoria needs to write. She needs to keep on writing." Because then that's when, after I've seen so many things, after my first book, I went through some things. Um,
Mm,
so, and God always say, well, you can't preach, what you don't know. So he really brought me through some things. And that's when the second book came out, Flesh versus Spirit, where this lady, which is me, all my poems is about me reflecting my story. And about a lady that was just basically battling flesh, money situation, love, trying to find love, miscarriages, being a single mother, dealing with jobs and working, and just family ordeals and stuff like that. So she really had to go through the darkness, and she was basically fighting and feeding more of her flesh. Like we said, the negativity that comes forth. She was basically dealing with that, and to the end of the chapter, at the end of the book, she realized that, hey, even through her faith walk, it was being tested. even through her spiritual journey, it was being tested. But after she realized she was feeding more her flesh than her spirit man,
Mm-hmm.
and she had to regroup. And that's when the spin-off comes in with the second book called Vision Speaks Purpose. And that one is basically after you find out that you're feeding more your flesh and you get rid of that, and you just ask, you just surrender to God, like, hey, I'm giving it all to you. And once you do that, it's a sense of peace that comes over you. And God gave this lady an assignment, and she said, "Hey, I want you." He said, "Hey, I want you to go on a mission." And he took her to a place, and it has different mountains she has to go through and valleys to go through to discover her purpose.
Now you're fading just a little bit. I didn't hear that last part.
Oh, she had to go through different valleys and just to discover her purpose. That's the second book, the Vision Speaks Purpose. And with that being said, she really, the question is that gets to readers: has she accomplished her goals? Did she understood her assignment? Did she um, see what her purpose was? And like every journey, it's not going to be easy. You're going to have some bumps and bruises. You're going to fall. So that's what I want to encourage people, that hey, it's not going to be all so glory and good and all this other stuff, but you will have that sense of peace when you realize, hey, I got this. You're going to keep on doing it. You know what your purpose is, what your mindset is to go. So the Vision Speaks Purpose is basically like a motivational book, just to keep pushing people, ladies, just people in general that have a purpose. Just keep going. Don't stop.
Don't stop. And
Yes.
wow, it's just one thing you said, that she found out she was feeding her flesh more than her spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's a little cliche, but it's true. The thing you feed the most is the thing that's going to grow the most. So, what are you feeding? Are you feeding doubt? Are you feeding confidence? Are you feeding depression? What is it? Or victory? And so even in ministry, a lot of times we say, well, just believe in God, God can do it. God can do it. God will do it.
Yeah.
He's able. But there's still a part that we have to play, right? There's still
Yeah.
something we have to do. We can hear the word, but if we don't believe it, if we don't activate it, if we don't say it over our life, if we don't walk in that way, then and I think a lot of times we just leave it on the table thinking, oh, well, why God didn't fix this? Why God didn't do this? But I know the Holy Spirit. I know at some point in time He was speaking to you, and He was like, "Well, come on, let's join the fight with
Yeah.
me. Come on in here with me. Can you say this? I'm giving you this
Yeah.
whole book of ideas and wisdom and stuff. Have you read the book? Because
Yeah.
think about it. When people are putting stuff together, me sometimes I'd be like, oh, it can't be that hard. This piece go right here, and then I have to go back and read the instructions because I missed one piece, and that missing that one step will
Mm-hmm.
throw it all off, right?
Yeah. And it is and I, me personally, a relationship with God and I call this like a committed thing, because certain things He gives me, and He always talks to me at night and during the day too as well. But is when I'm trying to get comfortable, and He wakes me up with something. I'm like, okay, look here, God, can we wait till tomorrow? But it's something that's placed in your spirit, and you have to write it out or go forth with it. And it's funny, it's an amazing thing, and it's something like you saying you have to read it over and over again, or you try to bypass it just because it's tough. Trust me, it is tough. But if you know that you're strong enough to manage to go through it, like everybody say, well, you're strong, you're tough when you have a child. After you have a child, you good to go. You can tackle anything. That's
Right.
true. It's just like, hey, after you go through this obstacle, you can tackle another obstacle. After you go through this one, you can tackle another one. After my car accident, people say, "Wow, you overcame that, so you can conquer anything." I can because I know who I am. I know what God has brought me through. Um, I could have been dead so many times, and I could have been in my grave, but God gave me another chance. And I say, you know what, God, I'm tired. And when you get so fleshly tired and spiritual tired of fighting, you can't not but help just go ahead, look, take it away, because
Right.
it's not pleasing anyway. You know, you get that temporary release, but you want that everlasting release. You don't want to be stressed out. You don't want to be constant, worried or anything. It's just let it go. So
True.
yeah, it's a lot.
I mean, you talking now, honey. I mean, because it's like, listen, I'm tired. I've been
Yeah.
struggling. I've been, even if you want to talk about like looking for love and stuff like that, you be in so many different relationships, but
Mhm.
they're never pleasing because you're always still trying to please the flesh. You know, you always and I mean, we see it all the time, high school and everything. You want the most popular person, the most,
Mm.
because then you can say, "Ooh, look what I have! I got the best," right?
Yeah.
But that outside ain't always what you,
What
baby.
you want? Yeah.
Trade the outside for what's inside.
I I truly said that. I
And
agree
so there's so much
respectfully.
more to life. We
Mm.
think we gotta have the biggest and the best, but sometimes it's just about really that simple journey, seeing that beautiful flower, seeing how the bees, go from flower to flower and what they're doing, how they're pollinating things, and just to see, like you're talking about your son, just to see him grow up and develop, and the different actions that he has from when he's a baby, and just what he does now. Now he can sit at a table and pick up his
Mm.
spoon. It's those simple things that we miss out on
Yeah.
looking for, because we don't understand what you said, the assignment.
Yes. It is. I wish. Uh, I wish now. Um, I knew what I know now. But then I said, well, God, if I knew then I wouldn't have what I have. So I said, especially looking for love. Um, it's been a journey of love journeys. But I thank God now I'm at a place, and he sat me at a place. He said, look, first of all, my son came about for him to slow me down. So I said, well, thank you, God, for the slowing down. But he said, you have work to do. And once you do my work, I'm preparing you for your desires, with your heart desires, not with your flesh desires, with your heart desires.
Hmm.
And that is a hustle, that is a thing, that is a ministry, that is, I've never thought my poetry would turn into a ministry. I never seen that. I never visioned that. That wasn't in my vision board. But just to know what God has in store, it is like I prefer to follow God's GPS instead of my GPS,
Hmm.
because if not, I'd have been in a ditch somewhere, still stranded or going in a circle. So
Right.
just to know that, hey, I always tell people, don't worry about looking for that particular person, because it's going to come. But get you together. Because once you have you together, then when that person do come, you'll be ready. You'll be ready mentally. You'll be ready spiritually. You'll be ready fleshly. Um, Not fleshly, mentally. But you you may think, okay, I'm ready mentally. I got this financially. I know what I got to do. But spiritually, you may not be ready. That just that little small little piece that you lacking in, God is working on that. And then after you got that full puzzle, then that's when your husband or that person is going to come to you. But it's just you working on you. And most people always say, well, I got me together. Yeah, you may have yourself together. You may think that. But once you accept and surrender, you like, wait a minute, I don't really have myself together. So it is a eye opening and it is a journey. I tell people just enjoy the ride. Don't worry about it because it's already taken care of. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And you're right, really, and it's really about falling in love with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's really about being okay with who you are. You know, your coloring, your size, your height. Now if there's something you want to change about yourself, then change it because that's what you want. It's
Mm-hmm.
because what you need. You want to feel more vitality or whatever, so you exercise for that. But when you're always doing it to appease or appeal somebody else, then when it doesn't work, then you stop doing it because you're like, well, that didn't work. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
then you try to do something else that might be appealing. But it has to start with you. What is appealing to
Mm-hmm.
you? What makes you at peace? What makes you feel strong? And we hear it all the time. You teach people how to love you by the way you love yourself.
Yeah.
If you're always talking down to yourself, then they feel like it's okay to say it the same thing too. Oh, you're so stupid. Who? What?
Yeah.
And you have to nip it in the bud in the beginning. Don't let it go. Just go ahead and
Yeah.
handle it. Wait a minute. This is how we not gonna talk, right?
Yeah.
And so that just what you said, that part about, loving yourself, and that getting yourself together is that part. Loving yourself, finding out the things you like and you don't like. You know, and like you said, sometimes you think you have it together, and then a situation happens, you be like, oh, I really didn't have that together.
Mm-hmm.
When you're talking about a relationship, are you really ready? Somebody to be, hey, where you at? What's going on?
Yeah.
No, maybe, da, da, da. Well, wait a minute. You in a
Yeah.
relationship now. You got to think differently. So, yeah,
Yeah.
all those things are just, it's a part of life. And what
It
if
is.
that person doesn't come? Are you going to be happy with you? Are you going to still go out and live life, right?
Yeah. It is. And I I go by where God wants to see what you're doing and what you're believing, what you're saying. He will
I know you're
plant.
saying something good. The enemy don't want you to be talking. I know
Yeah.
you're saying something good because I
Oh,
can't hear you that when you started
I,
again.
I just said that God is going to fulfill what you're lacking of and what you're missing. Um, Sometimes we think that okay, well, I need that person or that I wouldn't even say relationships, just like money. We got people that's chasing money. We have people that's chasing, the materialistic stuff just because they see other people or just because that makes them feel good for themselves. But if if those things was not there, who do you have? What do
Right.
you have? Um, I especially as an artist, I love to listen to. She said the company that never leaves, and I said that I thank God for being the company that never leaves, especially in my loneliest time or when my praying time, because I think that I'm alone. I'm really not, because that's when I can have my time to scream if I want to scream, uh, vent if I want to vent. But God is going to refer you to that peace. Once you release it, it's like, okay, now I'm good. I had to release that out because nobody will understand. And sometimes you would think that nobody understands you, but they do. They just don't share that they understand. So
Right,
it
right,
is, yeah, it is it's a journey and it's life. But at the end, during the lifetime that you're going through, you have to understand that you're not alone by yourself. Um, this life that we live in, we don't need to be transformed into this world. That's one thing we don't need to be doing. And it's easy to get into that, especially in the music, this generation now, especially with COVID. It's getting crazy, but we have to look at it as a bigger picture. What is God telling us to do as His people in the midst of
right.
this COVID? in the midst of this pandemic, in the midst of everything that's going on. I remember like Moses with his people and the Pharisees and everybody else. It was going through, and it's just basically bringing to intuition that hey, what are you doing in the midst of all this? Are you complaining? Are you just getting enough? Are you just like, hey, it's 2022, it is what it is. Now I know I make a joke because of that, because I know on social media they do advertise, hey, you got it, you got it. But in reality, it's like, God's still asking you, who are you going to trust? Are you going to trust these daughters or are you going to trust me? For I'm the healer. I'm the one that, bring forth the peace, especially when you have a loved one that's going on. I comfort you in those times, so it's him. It's him that you'll have to find at the end of the day. So yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. Now, I know you have a workshop coming up, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Women's conference. Yes.
Well, hold on. We're going to take a short break. We're going to do some community announcements or, just some announcements, some business announcements. And we're going to come back and we're going to talk about that because, um, yeah, everything you're saying is just, I say it all the time on the show. Sometimes I just want to be able where I can just sit and just like ponder it, but I know I got to continue on with the interview. But some of the things you're saying are really, confirming some stuff even in my spirit and stuff like that. So, but we're gonna take this quick break, do these
Yes, ma'am.
announcements, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about your workshop and if it's still open, how we can get involved and things like that. Okay.
Awesome. Yes, yes.
All right. I think we're gonna go to commercial. Well, he'll pick up in a minute. We'll
Good morning, good afternoon to some worldwide. Welcome to the information and news for making the connection with Aly. Y'all get up for Aly. This is DJ Bless Her DJ. We're going to get right into some announcements. You know I got to have a little bit of my music before I get started. Once again, I am DJ Bless, trying to get this mic set. This is Making Connection with Aly. Announcements, information. If you have any announcements or information, feel free to inbox either one of us. I am DJ Bless on Facebook, Instagram, Aly on Facebook, or you can email us. You got our addresses and information. First out, we got SDB Cleaning Services, Stacy Burrs, house and commercial cleaning. Call for a quote, 828-222-7848. Next, we have the Source Ministries, 661 West Main Street, Forest City, North Carolina. Join them for a worship experience every Sunday. Our prayer is 9:45. Worship service is 11 a.m. They would love to have you. Love to have you. Once again, that's in Forest City, North Carolina. All right. We have ASL, Credible Virtual Assistant, and online project management service. They offer to organize your emails, setting appointments, creating PowerPoints, social media management, creating writing, contact, creative writing. You can contact Siobhan Lewis on Instagram. She's actually worldwide, so you really need to reach out to her on Instagram. Next, we have Sisters of the Heart, Positive Women, Positive Change, meeting held every third Sunday each month. You can contact Lisa Vance, 704-904-1061 for more information. That's here in Charlotte, and I just want to give a shout-out, a plug to something I'm doing in Charlotte the last Friday of every month. It's called Sound Off Gospel Open Mic Night. It will be held in Charlotte, North Carolina, every last Friday of the month starting at 7 p.m. If you need more info, give me a call 704 726 6274. I'm turning this back over to Aly, y'all. I think I went over my time, but I love y'all. We love you. Thank you.
Everybody, that is DJ Bless Mitch Patterson. He is my DJ. So if you guys are looking for a DJ, looking for somebody to, carry your event through, he does some red carpet stuff too as well. So, reach out to DJ Bless Mitch Patterson on Facebook. If you can't find them, let me know. I can get in touch with him for you. But yes, that's Mitch, and we appreciate him. He's coming on board to collaborate with us to make sure announcements are done and things like that. So I appreciate him for doing that. And so, Victoria, everybody, welcome back. We've been talking to Victoria Brown. She is a poet. She's an author. She is published, y'all. And so she is doing great things. A mom of a 3-year-old, and it has an upcoming workshop. So tell us a little bit about the workshop.
Awesome. Yes, it's my first, actually, my ministry launch. And
Can't hear you.
can you hear me now? No? Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. It's my ministry launch um, event, women's conference, and it's called the Event. And that will be next Saturday at 1, um, 1 to 3. And it's also virtual, but we've been, it's in Columbia, and it is 1030 Angels Road. I'm trying to remember everything. In Columbia, South Carolina, 292. I'm trying to think of it, 29203, if I'm not mistaken. But all information is also actually on my website, www.writethevoice.com. It's $15. We also, for my website, it just basically talks about my ministry, what the ministry is about, what we stand for, how we can also pray for you if you need any interceding prayer or any words of wisdom or just any encouragement. If you're feeling down, you can also go on to the website and just express how you feel, and we will definitely stay in prayer for you. Um, the women's conference actually brought visions, and last year I wanted to do a conference, but God says not have time. And I said, okay. So this time here, God had gave it a vision to someone else, and she told me about it. She says, "Hey, I had a vision that you had to do a conference." And I was like, "No."
Oh,
So I
really?
said, "Okay, no problem." Yeah, so I was like, "Okay, no problem. Let's get the ball rolling." So um, it's been a journey, especially, and I had my moments. Not gonna say it was easy because it wasn't. And I'm still in the birthing season. I'm going, as we say, hey, God gives you the assignment, God plant something in you to give birth. So right now it's birthing season, and I just want to encourage everybody else that hey, you have something in you. It's time to get to work. You know, you have an assignment, and it's time to get to work. It's just like if you haven't had a baby before, but it's a you go through those stages of excitement. Yes, I know what I'm about to have. Then you have that baby shower moment. Okay, and I'm preparing for my child. Then you have your visits. You know, you have the outlines and everything. Then also you have your contractions now. I've been facing a lot of contractions.
Mm.
um, the devil with temptation, especially tempting this flesh. My weakness is chocolate. So in the process of me fasting, I've been wanting chocolate. And I said, okay, look, and it really gives me that release of not stressing, not worrying, but there are days where I have people want to send me their suggestions, and I would take it as criticism, and I'm not really fun of that. But I realize, hey, Victoria, you're not alone in this. You know, you have a village. So bringing forth this ministry, it means a lot to me, because I remember when it was I, and now we have ladies that's out here that that is you, once were you this area, and it reminds you, say, hey, I remember when you was in that. So this ministry that's got to come forth is she understood the assignment. The title, the theme is very broad and is very powerful in itself. So really don't get a lot of explanation about it because she understood the assignment. And at the end of the workshop, I just want to encourage every woman that's out here, everybody, just anybody in general. You have an assignment. Let's get to work. So yeah,
Awesome. Yeah. And so you said it would be in person and virtual?
yes,
Okay.
it'll be in person and in virtual. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so everything they need to know, go to wait, what's the, what's the website?
www.writethevoice.com.
WriteTheVoice.com.
Yes, ma'am.
So www.writethevoice.com. If you're interested in joining, tickets are 15. Is that
Yes,
even up to the day?
yes, ma'am.
And so, if maybe this interview has kind of sparked something on the inside of you. We keep talking about assignment, and maybe you're like, I've been trying to figure out what my assignment is. I'm trying to
Right.
figure out
Yes,
what my purpose is. I really would like to know. Maybe this conference will, be the thing that gets you to that place, that
hmm,
catapults you to at least the next step in finding out what that is.
yes,
So, I suggest, if this is, like I said, pricked you in any kind of way, make sure you join it. And it's next Saturday, the 29th.
yes, ma'am. And it will have more of it. Uh, I know, like this is just the beginning of it. I will be doing more workshops. I know due to COVID, people are very being limited of coming, but like I said, we're doing basically virtual. I am I will come to events or just to do a virtual Zoom and host different workshops. And it's just basically discovering your voice, reflecting God's word. Just discovering your purpose, reflecting God's word. And that's pretty much it.
Hey, that's amazing though. When
Yeah.
when you get together and you and God are in alignment, ooh, watch out now.
Yes.
Watch out, world. So I love it. I love it. So www.writethevoice.com if you are interested. And just like she was saying, maybe you're busy that weekend, but she's got other stuff coming up. So still make sure you go to the website, bookmark it, make it one of your favorites. So
Yeah.
you can keep track of her. And so it's some good things going on. And I just appreciate every guest that comes on and again are vulnerable and tell their story. You know, she said she had to go through some stuff. She's a pastor's kid, and being even that part, being a pastor's kid, because everybody expects you to be perfect.
Yeah.
She lived with the pastor. How he didn't see she was da da da, quit playing. The
Yes.
pastor's still a parent, and
Yes.
so and she's a person. She had a journey. She had some things she had to go through. So I just like to encourage people, and like she keeps saying, everybody has an assignment. It's time to figure out what that is. It's time to get a little closer to where you should be. But don't be you're going to feel fear. It's That's natural. But
Mm,
just don't get stuck. Don't worry because maybe you tried something before and it didn't work. That's okay. Maybe that wasn't for you, but learn, what you did learn from that. Hold on to that knowledge
yeah.
and apply it to the new thing that you're going to do. Because
Yeah.
what I know is assignments, you get different assignments in different seasons. So it's not just a one-time assignment and we're trying to fulfill that one thing. We're always evolving.
Mm,
When we have captured this area, maybe right now she's in South Carolina, but she's still got room to grow. She's still got things to do. She's going to add on to her conference. It's going to be different aspects, different levels, right? And so,
amen.
hey, just keep going. I guess that's what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah. I receive it. I receive it. Like I said, it is like you don't see the outcome of it, and not always not joke around with it because especially at my job, I say God gives me the vision, but He doesn't show me the labor. Um, so me and him be butting heads. I'm like, look here, God, you want me to do what? How? Where am I going to get this from? But he said, why are you asking all this stuff? When I planted in you, I'm the provider. I bring things, you know who I am? I am who I said I am. So I said, okay, I'm just gonna be quiet, because whatever you have planned for me is going to bless other people. And it's not just going to be for me, it's for other people. Especially like I said, I'm a minister child, but my dad had to go through some things to become what he's at. And my dad's
Right.
from Philly, and he's been in the streets and everything. And you be like, wait a minute, say what? But it's like, honestly, once you be honest with yourself, because like my dad is not just a Philly thing, it's because he knows who he is. He don't care about what nobody says. My dad will walk around with African attire, and everybody thinks he's from Africa. And I'm like, no, it's it's just
You
my
see
dad.
his heart.
But yeah, it's very funny because people will start judging and
Yeah.
assume, you know, oh,
Yeah.
she is, yeah, or she has this platform now, she's up to the top. But let me tell you how I got there, you know. And I always tell people I want my ministry not just to show the brightness of it. I want to show you that hey, I've been through the valley. I've been through. I was stuck in the pit. God had to pull me out and remold me, reshape me. Um, I was on deathbed so many times. God had brought life, and more times I have thought He picked me up. And one of my sayings, I always say that God picked me up on the right side of the road since I was 18. And when He picked me up, He kept on picking me up because I was falling in. But
Right.
just to have that reassurance that I have somebody that's gonna pick me up, it's like, hey, you know, what am I worrying about? So yeah, it's amazing feeling.
It is. And even when you're talking about when you be like, you want me to do what? How am I supposed to do this? A lot of times too, we put too much on ourselves. We take too much. This is God's assignment.
Exactly.
If it's His assignment, oh, He gonna handle it. Now
Yeah.
He does need us to be doing the work, to be making the calls, or to be putting the vision out there. Because if we don't know that you are a poet, if we don't know that you want to do a conference, then I can't say, hey, well, I have this place, you guys are welcome to use this. I can't say, well, ooh, I would like to come on the side to help you. I can help you financially. See,
Hmm.
what do they say? A closed mouth never gets fed.
Get fed. Yes.
So sometimes it's just about just being willing to put the vision out there so that it
Yes.
can get to the right place, so the right people can hear it. And so God has a plan.
Exactly.
But if we
Because
sit
I
here and be like,
remember when I used to I used to share my visions to certain people, but God said, wait a minute, that's not who I want you to share it for. And with this conference that's coming up, my God, when I said I was ready for the first conference, I really wasn't ready. I thought I was because
right,
I noticed I was running around with my head cut off, trying to find a venue, trying to find this, trying to find that. But this conference, everything just laid out. Once I prayed about it, I had a venue, like everything was booked. Let me tell you how God is. Everything was supposed to work. And besides, I told the lady, I was on the phone with her, I said, give me a moment. And I said, God, you gave me this vision. You gave me this date. And she was like, hey, you still there? I said, yes, ma'am. She says, there's actually one building that's available on your date. It's kind of far. I said, let's go. And once I said, my God, because He gives you a vision, He knows your desire, He knows what you're trying to go for. He sees the work that you're putting in.
right.
And that's the main thing. You have to put in that work. You have to do that. And once He sees that work going in and that fire that's burning up, like you said, watch out. you have to be equipped, which you are ready equipped. You just have to accept that you have it in you. So yes, it is it's amazing.
Right, right. I love it. I love it. You are doing an awesome thing. And I know a lot of times in business, one of the things that can drive a person crazy is social media.
Yes,
Honey, I was trying to help the church with their account, my personal account, the show. And so
mhm,
we're going to show another announcement just a minute about social media because you have to advertise, right? You have to
yes,
be
yes,
marketing what you're doing, but sometimes you can get overwhelmed with that. And so
yes,
this platform allows you to, post something and you can post it to different social media accounts. So you can do so much from one place now and link it to other places. And so we're going to show this real brief commercial about New You and
okay.
social media management software.
Social media management for businesses has become more important than ever. Scale your business on social media with an all-in-one platform. The system we are offering provides in-depth analytics, unlimited social profiles, copyright-free images, and much more. You can respond to all messages across platforms through one system. Weekly schedules of content can be created to automate your social media. Active Insights provides best recommendations based on post type and most engaging window of time to post. Social media management just got easier.
Yes, so it just got easier. I thought, and we're always trying to figure out when's the best time to post things like that. So even with
Yes,
that, it's going to help you. So if you're interested, reach out, or if you can't find the information, again, reach out to me, and I'll be able to hook you with the owner of that software, Miss Tanisha Relford. She's also on Facebook. If you want to look her up. And so, Miss Victoria, thank you so much. I'm so excited,
thank you.
about everything that you have going on. I love to read poetry. I love to, just hear what's going on in somebody else's heart, and
Yes,
sometimes, resonate with me. And so, I'm excited. I'm going to try to join the conference virtually next
awesome.
week. And so,
Okay,
I'll definitely go on the website and get my ticket. And so I hope some more of you guys join me. And like I said, even if you missed this one, she will have more. But Victoria, make sure you tell people again about your website, where they can, order your books and how they can follow
yes,
you or reach out to you.
okay, great. Let me grab it right here. Um, this one, the Black versus Spirit. You can see it. That's the first one. This one here is actually on my website as well. But when you order through my website, you can sign autographed book by me, and that is price of $11. And then you have the second one, which is Vision Speaks Purpose, and this one here is also on the website. So both of my books are on the website. But if you would like to get it, also get it from Amazon as well. And I'm gonna honestly more. Like I said, Blessed versus Spirit are both clips, and Vision Speaks Purpose. They're both on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. But you can get it fast. No shipping cost if you order it from the website. And it's not autographed. You get a bookmark. You will have my business card. You will have my informational card. And you will also be blessed with some other information where you can find. I do have positive affirmation on YouTube channel as well, and Spotify if you're not onto YouTube, but all platforms I have positive affirmation and some poetry as well out there. So all that's under honestly yours.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
make sure when you hit her YouTube channel that you subscribe.
Yes, please. Like I
Awesome.
said, everything is on the website. So yeah, check out the
Awesome.
website, share.
Yes.
Yeah.
And share this video with somebody that you think will be inspired by what has been said today. So,
Yeah.
Victoria, thank you so much. I'm
Thank
excited.
you.
You're welcome. My pleasure. My pleasure. So, guys, we are making connections with Allie. We're here every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Saturday at 12 noon, all Eastern Standard Time. Go follow us on Facebook. Turn on your notifications so you know when we go live. We're on Instagram. And so we love you. We appreciate you. And of course, until next time, we're leaving you with love, positivity, and good vibes. Have a good day, everybody. Bye, Victoria.